Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Playbook and the Playbill, where every play is a performance with your host, Leanna Butte, on WIUR Radio. The Yankees start opening day in a few days. Cannot wait. Thursday. I wish I could go. I work. So that's not happening. But I'm excited to see them on Thursday. First game. I'm excited to see Rodon as the opener, as a starter for the first game of the season. And also, I'm excited to see what their lineup ends up being, the 26-man roster. And I'm very happy that Will Warren and Carrasco got open on the starting rotation because on the 26-man roster because they pitched brilliant in spring training, and definitely with Smith being out for at least 2 to 3 weeks, and Hamilton being down, not being ready for the opening for the season to start. I'm excited to see what Carrasco and Warren could do. Warren, say the truth, he did not have a great 2024 season. He was able to get people out, but then he would get in trouble, and it's just he didn't know how to pitch in the big leagues. And when he did, he would get through games, but then he would struggle, and a run would become from 1 run to 3 runs to 4 runs to 5 runs. He would be given up in a game. And when the Yankees were not playing well, say the fans on their defense, a misplay there, a misplay there, Warren was not being helped by the defense. Like every other pitcher last season was not being helped by the defense. But I'm excited to see his difference from this year to last year. I'm very excited to see that because he looks so much better in spring training than he did in the last season. I'm excited to see this young guy. And also, the comparison to Michael King, I could see it, but I think he might be a little bit ahead of where King was. And I think also it helps him that he has so many players to his availability to help him become a great pitcher. And I'm excited to see that. And Carrasco just had a brilliant spring. A brilliant spring. I did not think he was making the roster being a minor league signing. Did not believe that at all. But I am very excited to see him. And also everything that he went through his career and his personal life. I'm excited for him to be a Yankee. And he said it, I think, after he was signed a few months ago. I don't know the exact quote off my head, but it was like every player wants to be a Yankee and put on those pinstripes. It's a dream of every player. And he gets to do that in the Bronx, most likely, or probably in the Bronx because I think he'll pitch maybe game 6 or 7. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the lineup. I I could go on and go on Judge. He is phenomenal hitter, phenomenal defender. He could run any ball down. He could throw runners out. He makes brilliant plays, and then just his hitting shows for itself. He could hit for 50 home runs per season. He has power. And also sometimes his home runs are just straight lineouts. No lineouts, line drives that just keep rising. He just has that sheer power that he could hit anything out. And I'm excited to see him. And also, he has gotten better on the bases by actually stealing a few bases, which I was actually shocked of how big he was, that he actually does try to steal some bases. But I'm excited to see him now come off another MVP season. And when he came off his last MVP season, he did get injured. But he was on pace to be the same guy he was in 22 and 23, and it didn't work out. His injury derailed him. So I'm excited to see Judge now come back from 2024 and maybe even be better because that's what he did in 2024, even though he broke the record in 2022 with 62 home runs. And he is the sole home run record. I don't think Bonds is. Just my opinion. Bonds did it during steroid era. Judge is not doing it during steroid era. but I'm excited to see that he might even be better than 2024, and that's impressive because he is in his prime still, and I am hoping while he is still in his prime, we get a championship this year, next year, in this near future because we have to have a Garrett Cole, an Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, uh, now Max Reed. I want them to get it with this core of young guys because I want to see it from my generation of an Anthony Volpe, an Austin Wells, a Ben Rice, Jason Dominguez, Oswaldo Cabrera. I want to see with these young guys that I am growing up with that they are becoming the core four that happened in the 90s and the early 2000s. I want to see that not just be on paper, that it actually plays out through at the season. And I'm excited to see Ben Rice. I really am. He's been a great addition to the team. Last year, he learned a position he never played in first base, and he didn't play a bad first base. He really didn't. In this spring training, we got to see him play his usual position in catcher. He's not a bad defender at all. And right now, I'm excited to see where he fits on days that he isn't the DH. It would be excited to see him maybe behind the dish one game or playing first on a day that us Ghostman is out or he's taking a DH day. I'm excited to see where he plays out. He gained, I think, 10 pounds of muscle, and it really showed it. He had a better spring training than Cody Bellinger. I think he had 5 home runs. And I'm just excited to see this young kid. And he just enjoys playing the game, and you see it every single time he's on the field. And he's just smiling, and I just enjoy watching him play. And I enjoy watching the team play right now. And I think going back to where we were with finding out Stan's down, Cole's down for the year. Heel is down for at least a few months. Smith is now injured. Not injured, but a little bit back. Hamilton's not come back yet. We have to wait a little while for Loizaga. It didn't seem like a positive, like, let's win a World Series or let's carry the team until most of these players, except for Cole, comes back. It didn't feel that way. But right now, going to the season, the way that Rice ended spring training, the way that Bellinger ended spring training, the way that Goldsmith ended his spring training, Wells, Judge ending with a home run the other day, the pitching really being stellar, either through the starting rotation or the bullpen. I'm excited to see where these pieces form when we start the season on Thursday. I'm excited to see this roster perform because even though in my heart I don't personally think they make the World Series, I still feel like there's a chance they could. If everything falls into place and they play for each other, and I just think back of 2017, they were not supposed to make it to the AL championship against Houston. They were not supposed to. You had all those players retired with Teixeira, A-Rod. I think Beltran was traded. McCann was traded. And the Yankees went one game to the World Series with a lot of young guys and veteran pitchers. Tanaka had a great series, and so did CC. But I was excited because I haven't felt that good in years. Because 2015, I remember that game against Houston. That was just a heartbreak. For the Yankees to lose at home, it hurt so much. Because that was the first time I saw them really make it to the playoffs in years that I could really just like put myself into that situation and watching every day, watching every game. Because I could say this from probably 2007 to now is when I have really gotten into baseball. Like I would watch it occasionally, but I wasn't into it because I didn't understand. I wasn't that wasn't who I was. I was into other things that when I was younger. So once 2007, 2008 comes in, I start watching daily because my mom's a Yankee fan and my dad's a Met fan. So either game is always on. I ended up becoming a Yankee fan. I used to actually go to every Subway Series with my dad, only to City and only to Shea, because my dad would not take me to Yankee Stadium. But so I have always loved sports from that age. So to actually really be enveloped in it, like actually understand it at that age and finally be a part of it in the fandom of like watching the game, understanding who players are, understanding that why your team is maybe a little bit better than the other team that it's facing. But that doesn't mean they're going to win. We have seen that year after year. Really, you would think Houston saying this. Houston was the better team against the Rangers, and the Rangers won the World Series. Houston was the better team, and Houston lost the Rangers, and the Rangers ended up winning the World Series. And I understand baseball is an enigma because anything could happen in any game, any series that turns it towards the other team or the opposing team. Anything could happen. I'm just excited because for first year in years, there's not really like yes, the Yankees say they want to win the World Series, that's their end goal, whatever. But for the first year in years, we don't expect them to make it to the World Series. Like most fans every year expect them to make it. And we get disappointed every year they don't make it. And I think that's like a positive for me. Like this year I don't expect them to make it, but I have faith and I have more like excitement of it because if they make it, that will be great for me as a fan because I don't have as much faith as I did last year. But I think if this team makes it to the World Series, that will be my favorite part of it. Even if I know I don't want them to lose again, but if they make it, I think a part of me will feel justified for like feeling like in so sure they're the underdog going to the season, and they're the New York Yankees. They're the underdog. The Dodgers are always going to be the number one. They sign everybody. They spend over $1 billion. They have a super team. I say that. Multiple fans say that, and it's not just Yankee fans who say it. It's fans across the whole board who say the Dodgers have a super team and should not be allowed to do what they do. I agree with those people. I don't like that they're allowed to defer so much money for players, and there's no really cap for the team because they spent over $1 billion past 2 years. And don't hear they play fine. They get the best players. They know how to play baseball. But does it hurt as a Yankee fan who's been told we were the evil umpire under Drew Steinbrenner's reign? And since then, we really haven't signed the big guys other than every so often. And the Dodgers do it every season. Does it hurt as a Yankee fan to see players that I want go to the West Coast to the Dodgers? Yes. But for me, like, I have to take what we get as a fan and just say, like, we still have a good enough team to win. And do I believe that right now? I mean, it's a 50-50 in my head. Do I think we're a winning ball club? Yes. And I personally still think we're one of the best teams in the East. I really can't argue with there's not enough moves that the American League has done to make the Yankees inferior to them. It really hasn't. The only team I could say that I would be afraid of in reality has to be the American League East. That our entire division is very good. And I think even back to Tampa, Tampa hasn't done a lot, but Tampa always gets a way to get into the playoffs except for last year. They get a way in. So, and then also I could say between the Tigers and Tigers and Royals. They're the most competitive in their division, and I'm saying the truth over the Twins. I think the Tigers and Kansas City work out, either become division leaders for the Central, or one becomes a wild card. That's what I personally think. I think they're just getting necessarily with the Tigers being young and really able to make it in the playoffs last year, beating a good team and making it all the way to the division series. I'm excited to see them play. I am really excited to see them with a few veterans now, with Gleyber Torres there, Tommy Kahnle in the bullpen, and then you have a lot of like young kids um who just who literally clicked in their first few years. And I'm excited to see how they're gonna advance, and I'm also excited to see Screwball maybe win his second Cy Young in 2 years. So I'm excited how that's gonna play out. But now going back to the Yankees, I'm excited how the starting lineup probably will end up. Every single one of these players could hit, I would say, 10 home runs, 10 plus home runs a season. And I'm excited. And I'm excited to see Wells lead off. We had never had a catcher lead off. And I personally thought Posada at least did it once or twice. He did not. And I'm excited to see where this roster ends up with our catcher leading off, who has a lot of power, and then having Paul Goldschmidt lead off for some games. I'm actually excited to see how he ends up being lead off hitter, because he never did. And just the way that they have their starting nine on most days, I'm excited how they play together. Like, I'm excited to see uh Cody Bellinger's relationship with Dominguez and Judge every day, and how they connect on the field. And then I'm excited to see a brilliant double play partnership between Jazz and Volpe every day. I'm excited to see that. And then I'm excited to see where Wells ends up this year, because I'm excited to see where if he's gonna be. Maybe he could end up being MVP uh figures this year, because he's just that type of player that I think he's just gonna get better and better as he gets older. And his defense is there. And his offense is there when he's clicking. And I'm excited to see where he ends up. I think this is the year for Volpe. I think Volpe is going to be offensively the best he has been, and I think his defense isn't going to change. He's one of the best defensive shortstops in the league, and he got a Golden Glove his first year. So I'm not worried about anything other than I think he's going to have a better offensive year, and I think the Yankees easily have 4 or 5 guys who could steal 20 bases in the year. So I'm excited to see their athleticism become even better. And I'm excited to see where this team ends up. Now I'm going to take a quick break for a few ad reads. Looking for a direct line to the people of Iona? Reach out to us and let us know if you have an event or program you need to talk to us about. Instagram at WIUR_Gals Radio, or email James Melvin for any questions. Now back to my show. So where do we see the Yankees from a week from now? I see at least 2-3 games win. I see them taking a good amount of games from Milwaukee and Diamondbacks. And I see what I do see is that it was the right decision to have Rodon be the opening day starter. That's what I see. I see Rodon, a brilliant game, and the Yankees win. I'm easily saying just a small margin. Maybe 1-run game, 2-run game. But going into the next few weeks, I'm excited to see how now, going to the pitching side, how they perform. We're going to see veterans, mostly, really, at this point, are all on our roster, our majority of the pitchers are starting rotation. Rodon, Free, Carrasco, Stroman, except for Will Warren as of right now. He's the only young phenom on the roster to start off the season. And I'm excited to really see them really produce. And also the connection that Max Fried and Rodon could give, not connection, just the help they could give a Will Warren and give him just answer questions for him and just help him develop into a better pitcher than he is right now and give him advice. And also having so many great assets of being on there, like with Blake and Andy Pennant as the assist as a as part of the pitching coaching coaching staff for pitchers. And also then in a few weeks, Garrett Cole has said this, and he has done it when he was injured last year, coming back and helping those pitchers as being another pitching coach for them. And while he won't able to produce this year and help the Yankees in sense of on the field, he could help in the locker room. He could help on the bench. He could help going to side sessions, bullpens for these pitchers, and help them in a personal level, 1-on-1. And I'm excited to see how Garrett Cole fits into it in that type when he eventually joins the team again. But I'm excited to see how even this bullpen end up. Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Fernando's Cruz. I'm excited to see how they plan out. And my number one guy is Tim Hill. I just love him. He is that one pitcher that I didn't think he could really get people out just because of his weird wind up and also his speed on his fastball isn't as fast as other pitchers. But his wind up is just amazing to me. And I love it. And I love that he makes players look silly. It just really is a great thing to watch him. And I'm excited to see him come back because he was their number one dark horse into the playoffs. He was the guy they depended on and always produced. He was the guy, no matter it was the right-hander or left-hander, he was able to get outs in the playoffs. And I'm excited to see that again throughout the season and see him in his second year in pinstripes, which he's probably going to have a better year in pinstripes than he did his first year. I'm just having so much fun watching the bullpen and the rotation actually form out to how they are going to be. And spring training definitely showed a lot. Stroman definitely got better. Rodon bounced back after a tough first outing. Warren will have another opportunity if I'm not mistaken this week, and so will Stroman before they start the season. Carrasco ended a great last start, if I'm not mistaken. He had his last outing. I think he had 4 or 5 innings, no runs. And he had a 1 point something ERA for the spring training. He was brilliant. I'm excited to see this roster format and the pitching staff. And I'm excited to see Luke Weaver now as a setup role to see how that changes. And also, he's definitely going to get opportunities as a closer. But I just love his energy and his his personality. It's so fun to watch him pitch, and then it's so much fun to watch him when he's interviewed. It is just he is just a ball of sunshine, and I love it. And then we get to see now the Yankees just signed Yarbrough, a left-hand pitcher, usually long relief starting pitcher. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how he ends up. Where he ends up on the roster, either the bullpen or a long starter. Not starter, innings eater. I'm excited to see where he fits on, and he has pitched great in his career with Dodgers, with the Blue Jays, and the Rays. And when the Yankees faced him in the past, they have had not been able to really hit him. And he's more of a soft guy with his a soft touch pitcher with his pitches, but he could get it batters out. He could have batters look silly. So I'm excited to have another guy who could strike people out. And I'm excited to see the Yankees bullpen for once have multiple guys that could strike people out. And the past few years, we have had maybe one or two guys, but most of them have been contact. Like Canely, his changeup, contact. Clay Holmes, contact. For most of his sinkers, he would get you on the ground. So I'm excited to see where this roster ends up on Thursday. I'm excited for this season. And thank you for listening to the Playbook and the Playbill. To end it off, we are looking. WIUR is looking for writers to create a top of the hour news, sports, entertainment updates. Updates are created once a week and will be 90 seconds. Equipment is provided. Reach out to WIUR eBoard if you are interested. Thank you for speaking to us. This has been the Playbook and the Playbill. Signing out, Liana Butte with WIUR Radio. Have a wonderful rest of your day.